2 months from today, both parties will hold their nominating conventions. Republicans in Duluth and the DFL in Rochester. The big prize is the party nomination for governor, but for both parties, that may not be the end of it. It's possible the nominees for governor will end up being decided by voters at the August 14th primary. Joining us to talk about that possibility and other political news is Professor Larry Jacobs of the Humphrey School. Thank you so much for coming in.
Great to be with you.
All right, let me ask you, everyone seems to be waiting for Tim Pawlenty, who clearly is going to get into this race. We don't know when. Is this going to go to an August primary?
Probably. Tim Pawlenty, of course, has got all sorts of great things going for him. Name recognition. He's got a gold-plated Rolodex to raise money, and he's a fabulous communicator to the point that both DFL and Republican leaders say he's probably the best candidate, but he's also the guy who came out against candidate Donald Trump as unfit for office, and lots of Republicans who are active in the party hold that against them. So he's probably looking at a pretty ferocious battle to win the endorsement. If he can't win the endorsement, it's
and it's just 2 months from today.
Exactly,
yes.
And it's quite possible that Jeff Johnson, who's been in the race and winning a lot of these delegates, could win that endorsement, head into the primary as the party's endorsed candidate against Tim Pawlenty. Everything's up in the air, I think.
All right. What does that do to have two party leaders battling it out all Minnesota summer, fighting each other as opposed to fighting the DFL?
Well, obviously the DFL is smiling. The Trump supporters are calling Tim Pawlenty a swamp creature, and the DFL like that tag. They may actually use it in their own advertising, and it's going to weaken the Republican ticket, no doubt about it, and use up a lot of money. Meanwhile, you've got the Democrats, who've got Tim Waltz, who so far appears to be in the lead. He won about 3/4 of the delegates in the first round of the process. And you've got his main challengers saying they will abide by the Democratic Party if they endorse a candidate.
All right. Well, let's talk about Tim Walz, because he has said that he is not going to abide by the nominating process, that he would take it to a primary. Could the same scenario as might happen to the Republicans, could the DFL go to a primary as well?
It sure could. The difference here is that Tim Walz appears to be in a much stronger position within the party, winning a number of delegates already. He's also announced who his lieutenant governor would be, and she's very powerful, Peggy Flanagan, very powerful within the
State
DFL.
Representative.
Yep.
This past week, we, of course, saw the visit of Mike Pence here to talk about the tax bill, but also to give a boost to Republicans who are running members of Congress. CNN has called Minnesota ground zero for the midterm elections. Is that an indication of that, Pence's visit?
Absolutely. Sometimes Minnesota is flyover territory for these battles, but not this year. When you look around the country, there are very few states where there's so many up for grabs congressional races. We have 3, maybe 4 of the 8 congressional seats that are up for grabs. The Republicans would love to pick up some of those that are currently held by Democrats, because they're probably going to lose some seats, particularly in the Northeast and out west in California.
Okay, let's talk about the Trump factor. Candidate Donald Trump came very close to winning Minnesota, very close. Is he going to help Republicans, hurt them, hurt the DFL, help the DFL?
It's going to depend.
I mean, in northern Minnesota especially. In
northern Minnesota, in the 8th congressional district, Congressman Rick Nolan has stepped down. This is an area where Donald Trump did very well, won by double digits. He's now been campaigning hard on the tariffs, which play well so far in the Iron Range. And so that could really give a boost to the Republicans. They're quite happy with their emerging candidate. The DFL has got a bit of a scrum there they're going to have to work out. So Trump could well help. Up north, could help in the south. In the 1st congressional district that's being vacated by Tim Walz, also strong Trump territory. But here in the Twin Cities, it could be a disaster for Republicans. And if you're running statewide, that could be a real problem, because we could see big DFL turnouts, which will be hard for the Republicans to overcome.
Okay, well, so much to talk about. Professor Larry Jacobs has graciously agreed to continue this conversation on Facebook Live on the WCCO Facebook page at 11 a.m. immediately after the end of the show. Like WCCO TV on Facebook, and you can join us live at 11 a.m. or even watch the video later. So we'll see you in just a few minutes on Facebook Live.